Hello everybody, Heavy Hammer Bushcraft again. Came out here in the bush today because I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole the other day. I mean, not so much of a rabbit hole, it just seems to be the predominant thing on YouTube right now. I try not to watch a lot of bushcraft videos because they end up influencing my videos, and I really don't want to make that a thing. I want my videos to be my videos, not necessarily influenced by other people in that nature. But when I see things that give me enough pause where I feel like I need to reach out and give caution about them, I would be remiss, I think, if I did not do that. I feel a little odd about not doing that, because these are things that we all need to be aware of. And a lot of people, especially just getting started in bushcraft, may not necessarily be aware of them. You know, you see some guy on YouTube do it and it looks cool and it's awesome and it's great. And then you go out and do it and, well, the things that are going to happen, and you're discouraged and now you don't want to do this anymore. So, that being said, I was watching a bunch of the guys that go out and build like these stone cabins and these big wooden cabins and all this stuff, like not necessarily big, but little one-room cabins and stuff as a bushcraft shelter. I don't want to take away from what those guys do. They do some really cool work. Their little builds are awesome. I love them. I do enjoy watching them when I do. But I see a lot of these guys, when they build their shelters, this area right here that I'm in, right where I'm standing, I guess, is not a bad area for a shelter. But when you get over into areas like this down here, like, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but that's a straight run downhill from that side, this side, and that side. And I've seen 3 or 4 videos in the last week or so of guys building shelters in an area just like that, dug back into a bank. Well, if you've got downhill in 3 directions towards your shelter is now in the path of least resistance for water flow. So if you build a shelter there, you're going to get water in your shelter, and it may have catastrophic consequences. It could wash a wall of your shelter out. It's not going to end well one way or the other. Something very important to be aware of. So I just wanted to have a little talk about reading the land. And by reading the land, I mean looking at the land, looking at the lay of the land, seeing the slopes, seeing where water is going to travel if you do get bad rain while you're out, looking for small game trails, things like that, things that you want to avoid, where you want to avoid building your shelter. And then ideas about where you want to build your shelter. Now, I'm not going to move the camera around and walk around out here a bunch and show you really good locations, because this spot's got a couple of decent locations in it, but it's got that primary bad location that I wanted to discuss. So anywhere where you get slopes like that, you don't want to shelter. That's a bad idea. You're going to get wet. If you get a bad enough rainstorm, and there's no telling how bad it has to be, you're going to get wet, and it may wash out a wall of your shelter. And if a wall of your shelter is supporting the logs on the roof of your shelter, well, now you're going to be wearing the roof of your shelter as well. And that's not a good time for anybody. That's not what we come out here to do. We come out here and have fun, relax, and have a good time, not wind up buried in our own buildings. So you want to watch out for that. You need something you don't want it at the top of a hill, because at the top of a hill, you're going to be in the wind shear. You want it just below the top of a hill, but you don't want it all the way at the bottom of a hill, because then you've got water, and that's where all the cold is going to settle at night. So you want to be somewhere in that middle grade of that slope, like I am right here. I've got uphill on this side, downhill on this side, a little flat area right here. This is a decent little spot. That's not. Bear that in mind when you're looking, if you're going to build shelters like that, or even if you're just going to set up a tarp shelter. Bear that in mind. That is not a place you want to be. Probably more so in a tarp shelter even than in like a building. Because a tarp shelter, you've got nothing. You know, the building may direct some of the water around you, but water is going to take the path of least resistance. And if you're in a tarp shelter there, it's coming right through. I mean, you don't want to be there. It's going to be wet. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be bad, especially in the middle of the night. Another thing to watch out for: small game trails. We're out in the bush. Animals live out here. Animals move out here. Animals are much like water. They take the path of least resistance through the terrain. You can see little game trails, little just narrow, worn paths through the bush. You want to build somewhat near those, but you don't want to build right on top of them. They're a good source for food, depending on what's taking that trail. But they can, if you're building on top of it, now your food's coming directly through your camp, or at least close enough to get spooked by you and run off. Number 2, you don't necessarily know what kind of small game is using that trail. You may wind up waking up with something you don't want in your structure, in your shelter in the middle of the night, or go out to get firewood in the morning, come back, and now you've got something in your shelter that you've got to deal with. Not all animals are friendly, and not all of them smell good. So again, something to bear in mind. So if you're watching for your small game trails and you're watching for the lay of the land or reading the land and how the water is going to flow, and even to an extent how the wind is going to flow over the land where you are, if you pay close attention and you just go out, and you don't even have to go out and actually build a shelter, just go out and look, sit and watch, log sitting, do the nest muck thing, and just watch how the wind moves, and just look at the terrain and see if you can picture where water would flow. That will help you immensely. Now, we've already talked about, widow makers and wigglers and all this stuff that you have to be careful of too. Those are the key components, yes. These are other components. And when I see people on YouTube building these shelters like this, I really want to stop it from giving people bad habits or putting people in dangerous situations that are not experienced. It's kind of, if you haven't noticed, it's kind of what this channel is all about, is like the beginner, the people that are just going out and getting started, younger folks, anybody that just has an interest in this that doesn't have any idea where to start. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you an idea of where to start, how to start, and do it safely. And building shelters like those in those locations, absolutely not safe. Not safe at all. So keep that in mind. Just pay attention. It's really not hard to see it. Like I said, you can see here, downhill, downhill, and downhill. So that's going to be a channel where water's going to flow. And like I said, I've seen several videos of people building shelters right in an area like that. Don't be those guys. Don't do that. You're going to have a bad time. I promise. It's kind of all I got for right now. I just kind of wanted to come out and discuss that and get it off my chest because it was starting to drive me nuts. Merch. We do have merch. It's a little cooler today, so I actually got to wear the hoodie. We've got t-shirts, ball caps, coffee cups, 2 different kinds of hoodies, 2 different logos on them because this logo didn't go well with some of the colors, so I added a second logo that went better with those colors. Come in various sizes, of course, up to I think 5X. T-shirts and hoodies. The t-shirt that I ordered for myself did shrink after the first wash, so bear that in mind. Order a size larger or something than you normally would. Hammer said that the hoodie also that he has shrank some, so again, maybe order a size larger just for good measure. But they're decent hoodies. They're Gildans. They're comfortable. I've worn this one quite a bit. I've had it a few months now, but I wanted to wear it a little bit and get an idea of, the quality of it before I actually brought it out and demonstrated it. Head over to the Etsy shop if you want one. I'd really appreciate the support. Any profits I earn from them come back into the channel somehow, either through new mics or camera equipment or tripods or something. So yeah, that's all I got for you today. Be safe when you go out. Think about things, think things through, and don't learn the bad habits if you can avoid it. Comment, like, subscribe, thumbs up. If you want me to discuss any of this in more detail, leave a comment. I'll do my best to do so. Come out and see if I can find a place where we can talk about it specifically. And yeah, we'll see you in the bush.